The Punch newspaper this morning is reporting that Tinubu will win the 2027 election, and that's coming from APC. America conducted itself throughout the elections and the electoral body that governed that. Do you think that Nigerians will we get to the point in 2027 where we say we trust the results that's coming out from INEC? Now, when you look at what happened, she came out immediately and called up the president and said, congratulations, because you had a good fight, right? And nobody is saying people got stopped from voting and all of that. Now, when you place this and you put INEC with the conversations we've been having, even with state elections, do you think that Nigeria is soon going to accept results coming out from INEC?
Well, I think if you ask me, and if I'm going to be very honest with you, Mr. Judd, I think if we're going to get to that level, we'd have to probably spend more, because you have to look at, the way and manner at which the elections was conducted. Aside from the fact that, yes, we had a ballot box, as we have over here, but you have to look at the fact that the polling units, that was my point of interest. The polling units are not just, anywhere. It is not just, because this is where we feel elections can be held inside an estate, someone's a private residence, or in a primary school, open field, not well secured, and all of that. So if you look at and compare it to that of Nigeria, I think we still have a long way to go. But I will always say this: we feel like we're practicing what the US is doing, but at the same time we're not doing it, right. So I wouldn't just blame INEC, who is more like a body. Take for example in football, you have the officiating, umpire, but you have, the FA. So if you are the FA wants the officiating, body to actually get things done, then I feel then we still have a long way to go. Yeah, so at the end of the day, we can actually achieve this. But like I said, my point of interest in the US election was, looking at the polling units, how orderly it was. Look, those points, if you want to even if you want to access that point to cause mayhem, it is very difficult.
So Ochobong, you said that it would cost us a lot to get to this place, which I actually, think is true, because every good thing costs money. But I'm also thinking, with the so much that we have spent over the years for all the elections, I remember, last year, and all the money that INEC said, was going to use to get the things ready and get it done. Do you think that it's justifiable to get the kind of results
that Nigerians got, most especially for the IREV that we're not registering? Yes. Do you think that it's fair on Nigerians that we got that kind of result?
Well, I think if I'm to answer that, honestly, I would say maybe after 2027 would have every ground, to hold INEC to whatever promise they made. Because
so you don't think that they've made more mistakes that we can continue to wait?
Now, this is why I'm saying this.
So we should wait for another mistake to fix.
This is why I'm saying this.
Okay.
And I'm just being, candid about it. The truth is, the 2023 general election, the means at which it was, being carried out, with the introduction of the BVAS, the IREV portal and all of that. Yes, it did not go 100% because of technology.
Yeah.
But if after 2027 we still have the same incident, then we can probably say, INEC, we're not sure you're ready to handle this. But going by, Gloria's question as to, how much they've spent so far. Yes, they have spent money, because we want to move away from, the era where we had the card readers or so, to the BVAS right now. So it is a transition. But nobody said, the process of transitioning from that era to now is going to be just, within a blink of an eye. So that's why I'm saying, okay, the 2027 will be on the part of INEC to redeem themselves as to, okay, we are capable of handling technology. So the reason why I even brought it in the first place was, comparing it to the just concluded US election and as to how, people conducted themselves. So at the end of the day, I feel, every other country can get there, not just Nigeria. It takes work and dedication.
It takes work and dedication. Omotayo, would you want to come in? Do you think it's fair when we compare Nigeria's election to the election in the United States of America? Would that be fair?
Good morning once again.
Good morning.
Good morning once again. Two topics two questions you've raised. Number one, APC saying that Tinubu will swiftly win the election in 2077. That let me start from that one before I go to the INEC issue. Number one, it is a shame on INEC for APC to have released this statement early enough. It is a shame. In fact, in a working country, you shouldn't be discussing election until when INEC declares that this particular time is when a political party should start talking about election. And it is constitutionally written, even the new electoral bill, there's a time for where you can start campaigning, you cannot start saying. But Mr. Jude, Nigerian election or African election is now like a war. For instance, common local government election, common councillorship election, you could see the war we fight. Now, it is a big shame if APC can release the statement early enough. Another paper took that story like this, because I also saw the details of that story that, it is a walkway for them in 2027. How do you know it's a walkway for you in 2027?
But you remember the former governor of Edo who says once you join APC, all your sins are forgiven. So they see the future.
That is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You're not seeing the future. See, if you have a working electoral body, by now APC should be sanctioned for that statement. This is not yet the time to make such statements. There are campaign period. He said, INEC, we need to wait for INEC in 2027. That's what Top is saying, that we need to wait for 2027 to know if INEC can now be able to manage this technology. No, we don't need to wait for 2027. With what we've seen in Benue election, with what we've seen in Edo election, I don't know what Ondo election is going to be this Saturday. INEC is not up to the task of conducting the election in Nigeria. We don't need to wait for 2027. In fact, you want to correct your error. The next election after the general election was Imo election. There are litigations after that election. Until we start conducting elections and opposition parties could easily pick their phones and call the winner, like Kamala did, INEC still has a lot of job to do. Beyond INEC also, our judiciary. Mr. Judah said something, and he said, why will I say that? I said, if people can tell you, go to court, it's an insult on our judiciary. And maybe the Kekere could heard me the last time when I said judiciary is already failing. Now she's beginning to see that some judges, was one of our statements over the weekend, some judges are actually the one tarnishing the image of the judiciary. So for me, it is a shame on INEC that a political party, when it's not yet time for them to start talking about election, and even if it's opposition party, are already talking about it, they should be sanctioned.
And he said something about INEC not being able to conduct election, and I'm very curious about asking a question: who should handle the elections in the country? Are you saying that the structure in INEC is not okay? That would be a different conversation. Or you're saying INEC as a whole? Should we go back to the era of having was it REC or some?
Yes, but can I ask you this honest question?
Go ahead, please.
Do you think that these political parties, whether when PDP was there or APC is there, do you think that they know the loopholes in INEC and that's why they feel we must win this election? And if we go to the polls, we will win these elections because we understand that these people are not properly managed, they will make mistakes. Do you think that's the reason?
Well, Mr. Ju, anybody that has concrete information on that question,
yes,
I think should be, calling for questioning, because if you know these things, then why have you not brought it to public space?
Quickly look at the story. It's in the Vanguard newspaper this morning. It says, some judges giving judiciary bad name. That's coming from CJN. By and large, our judges are knowledgeable, upright, courageous and hardworking, she said, but added, it is unfortunate that a few ones are giving us a bad name.
Any political person or judicial person that is exposed to politics is not supposed to be found in either INEC or judiciary. There are some judges. For instance, the issue of state, constitution say that the issue of state jurisprudence should stay within the state. We have a country whereby, when it comes to state issues, some people will carry it to Federal High Court. We now start having counter judgment. These are what of things she's saying. So what I would want Kekere to do is fish out these bad eggs amongst you, because as it stands now, people don't really trust the judiciary again. If they can really give, a proper judgment, if they can give the constitution a proper interpretation. So good moves from her, but I want her not to just stand there. Fish out these people. Put out their name. Let Nigerians know them. For the few some cases that they've handled, this is how to correct this error. This is how we can have a working country.
Would you? There are organizations that shouldn't have a few bad eggs. Like take for example pilots saying, "Oh, all our pilots can fly except for a few bad eggs that can just crash land."
The truth about it is that there has never been, if anybody's going to tell you the truth, there has never been any time before independence, after independence, that an average Nigerian would tell you that any arm of government is free or free from any bad egg.
If fine, you're welcome. Where are you calling us from today?
Minikeja.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, I think your first topic was
yes,
the APC meeting.
Yes, APC was Tinubu will sweep the elections come 2027.
That's quite laughable, right? Because you wonder the brazen confidence with which these people make some of these statements. You wonder if they are in tune with realities on ground. But, well, it's understandable. They can make such statements because the pendulum seems to swing in their favor, right? I heard you asking, why do you think INEC would want to favor one party or something like that?
Yes.
No, but let's be very factual, right? Today we have the chairman of National Union of Road Transport Workers, a known supporter of the president, is unapologetic about it. And this same group are the groups that INEC will use to share sensitive and non-sensitive materials during the election. So if you look at it on the surface, it's already a compromised system from that angle alone. Just to jump on the judiciary part as well.
Yes.
Good, the CJN is saying these things, but it's not enough to just say these things. Let's even start from our own person. With all due respect to the CJN, she was hosted by the Lagos state government, right?
Yes.
And Miss politicians, all in a bid to appreciate or to do more, call it Thanksgiving, whatever it is, or identify with her as a Lagosian and all that. In the past, growing up, right, what we knew about judiciary is that you don't even see them, the judges in particular. You don't see them in public events. You don't see them in public parties. You don't.
So they're not compromised.
Exactly. So they are not compromised. But you see them today hobnobbing with politicians. Politicians will host parties and invite them. They sit with them, laugh along and all that. So from the optics, it doesn't even make any human rights sense to see judicial judges hobnobbing with politicians in parties and exchanging pleasantries in the open.
Okay.
Like the days of Justice Nikki Toby and the rest. These are incorrigible judges. You see them in their actions, in their conduct, in their mixture with politicians. They are not seen in public, truly.
Okangbe from Afoluku, go ahead.
You see, when they say they will sweep the 2027 election,
yes,
I think the headline should have said we will hijack the 2027 election.
But that's not the headline. The headline
I think that's what the headline should carry, because what will you be campaigning with? What will you come 2027 and campaign? That you have brought everybody in Nigeria, you have turned everybody to a beggar. You know, people cannot see it again.
Good luck, Chino. Where are you calling us from?
From Ogun State.
Great. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
You see all these things they are saying. They've already by judiciary. Both the electoral, what they call the INEC.
How do they?
They give them all whatever they need. So there's nothing they can say when the master has appointed them there. Can you buy the hand that feed you?
Sometimes. All right. Thank you. Wow. That's a